Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Mark. We are going to be in the wood shop today, and I have been playing around with my CNC machine, and to my surprise there's a simple little program. I think it's called Box Maker, and it's under the gadgets, and you can make a beautiful little box really quickly, and I'll show you how you design it on the Vectric software. I got the 12.5 version of the VCarve Pro. So I figured let's do something different than a little box. And basically, what is a box? It's a drawer. So we're gonna use up some leftover hardware I had from some kitchen projects, and I want to do some organizing in the shop in the worst way. So when you look at the price of a sheet of oriented strand board or OSB, this is 7/16, and I could make 4 drawers out of a sheet, and just say the sheet is $12. That would be $3 to make a drawer. And this stuff is very durable. Some people hate it, but this is just for in the workshop. It's not going to be a showpiece of any means, by any means. And it makes a really square box, and it goes together perfectly. So our first step is to figure out what size we're going to need the box to be. Most common drawer runners give you within anywhere from 1 inch to 1 1/16 inches. In other words, when the hardware goes on the drawer box, you have to deduct 1 inch or a heavy inch off of that total dimension of the opening to allow for the hardware to mount. So I'm going to take some measurements and see where I can put a drawer at. And I have some OSB left over from another project, so this virtually will cost nothing more than just let the CNC machine cut it out. So let's go to the confuser, and we'll fire up the VCarve software, and I'm going to show you how I put that together on the computer. We'll bring it out to the CNC machine, and we'll route a drawer out and show you how simple that is. So let's get started. All right, hopefully you can see this fairly well. I'm just in my confuser room here, and this was the little box you just seen on the workbench. So we're on the VCarve Pro, so we're gonna make a new file here. So I don't want to save this. It's already been changed. It's already been saved, so we don't need to save that. So we're going to start over here. So we are going to change the size, and we're going to tell it 24 inches wide. And I believe I have this right, 48. There we go. That's what we're looking for. So this basically will be the capacity of my machine. Okay, now you got to tell it how thick. And OSB to 7/16, I'm finding out that 0.45 is working out. If you go a 1/2 inch, the joints will be there'll be a lot of overhang on the tails, and you'll have to sand that all off. So that'll set it just about perfect. We want to make sure we're going off the machine bed, because when we go over here to index it, we want to cut through the thing. So we want it to realize that's the bed. For some reason, this program here, it seems like the bottom left-hand corner is what it likes. Material settings really don't matter. We're going to keep it to the standard speed, and that's pretty much what we have to tell it so far. Now we're going to go up to gadgets, and I never knew this until I started really playing around. It's called the Box Creator. I called it the Box Maker, but anyhow, we're going to bring that up. So we're going to tell we want this drawer. In our case, we're going to go 22. Go 22, and the sides are 5 1/4. Okay, the joint width, we're going to change that to 1 inch. I believe that worked out good. Okay, then there's an allowance in here, and the allowance is basically the joint clearance. And if you set that at 0, you will have to put this together with a hammer. You don't want that. So I put 0.01 and it works out absolutely perfect. We're going to use the 1/8 inch end mill, but if you wanted to select any different tools, you have all kind of options. The bigger the size of the bit, the bigger the dog bone will be on the joint. And depth, the pass depth, you want to make sure that, see, I'm allowing about 1/8 of an inch. It's going to take at a time. If you set this very low, that thing's going to take forever to cut this out. So 1/8 seems to work. It's not breaking the bits. So we're just going to close that because we already selected it. And now the magic happens. And then, okay, you got an option of make a lid. We don't want a lid, so you don't have to do nothing. So it's going to be a flat lid. You could put a tab lid if you wanted it. And then we're just going square tabs. It also will do dovetails. I haven't played with that yet. Maybe in the future we will. And we're going to hit OK. And there it is. The whole project's laid out. So this is one drawer box. It'll come out of about $3 worth of OSB. That's incredible. So now we got to go over to save the toolpaths. So here's what I found. If you go in here and do any form of editing minus what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename it. So box cutout, we're going to put 22 by 22. And that's what we're going to call it. So now we're going to go to Save Toolpaths. And there's our 22 by 22 because it'll name it some generic name and you'll have no idea what box is going to get cut. So you might have 5 different boxes you're playing with, and then which one do I want to cut today? Well, this is a big help. Also make a notepad of what you have done, and we're just going to use a thumb drive. I'm going to put it into the computer now. So it's in, and we're just going to hit Save Toolpaths. And there it is. See, here was that 6x6. I have another, I made a 4th of July sign for my neighbors. And this one here is just a random, and I'll have no idea what it is. So it's kind of a bad thing. So anyhow, we're going to tell it to save it. Okay, so it's saved. So now we're going to see what's in the thumb drive, and there it is. It's there. So when you're doing anything with these thumb drives, very old school, and my brother taught me this, and thank you, Joe, by the way, for the beautiful job you did on my new computer here. So you want to hit the eject, and if you pull this thing out without doing that, you will really mess up the files. But if you go in, like I was talking before, if you go in here and change anything, just say you, I don't know, you wanted to go in here and you want to start messing around with different thicknesses and whatever else, this program, it will not cut what you told it to cut. And I don't know why, but this pretty much is all you need. It's you know, it already did it for you. So let's go out to the shop. Let's set up a piece of OSB in the machine, and let's cut a drawer out. Okay, we're ready to start playing around, making ourselves a drawer. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this thumb drive in. It only goes in one way. There it goes. And then we're going to power up the machine. And the first step is it'll go through its cycle. And one thing I don't like about this machine, these rich auto controllers. So we're going to send it home so it'll do its own thing now. And when I park it, I always set it on a roll of tape. That way the as it as it sort of relaxes, you don't have that bit sitting on the actual wood and take a chance of breaking it. So it's going to go over to its corner where it calls home. And then once we get to that point, and I'm trying to keep you into the shot as much as I can. Really hard to film and do something. Try it sometime. I suggest it. Then you understand. All right, so when I had flattened this spoil board, I had run a small bit, a little V bit, all the way around the perimeter, and it tells me the actual cutting area of this machine. So what we want to do first is we want to set that. So we're gonna run the Z axis down, and right there it will be right on. So I want to run it over just a 1/4 inch each direction. And you can do this by eye. That looks pretty good. I'm going to run the Z down a little bit more till it almost touches. And we're going to run that back just a little bit more. And I kind of like that where it's at. So what we're going to do now, and I don't know where I've been with the camera, so we're going to save that axis. So now it zeroes itself out. Let's take the Z axis back up. And I want to go into the table a little bit so I can set my tool set. And the reason we're going to do this now before we clamp the board down, the board is going to be as big as the table. So I wouldn't be able to travel off anywhere to set it to the bed height. Now, I'm going to be running a spoil board, and what I mean by spoil board, I'll show you an example. We're going to put a piece of 1/8 inch plywood down, which is sacrificial, and we're going to send the router bit down below the project so that it cuts all the way through it. If you don't do this spoil board, you'll be cutting your bedboard up and it will really be nasty. So what I do, most people would say, well, we'll just set it to the thickness of this board. Don't want to do that. We want to go through it. So here we go, the business cards again. They're good for a lot of things. So what I did is I made a stack of business cards up, and I made sure that these are lower than the spoil board. Meaning that when I tell this machine the bed height, it's going to the top of these business cards, and it's going to allow that little bit of thickness to cut through. So we're going to take this. I don't know if you're following me so far, if I'm getting a little too technical. Most people might know this, but if you've never been around a CNC machine like I haven't, I've learned a lot. Okay, this machine has a built-in little puck, they call it. And this is what the bit's going to touch off on. So I'm going to put the business cards here. We're going to put the puck on top of it, making sure that there's nothing, no debris. And then we're going to hit the button called Tool Set. Now it's going to send that bit down. I want to make sure I'm just about center. And as soon as it touches, okay, now it's zeroed in. So I can move this carriage around anywhere I want on the machine right now, and all the parameters have been set. So I'm just going to run this out of the way. I'm going to go over as far as I can to get it out of our way. So now we're going to start the process of securing our material down to the table. So yeah, I always keep a pile of those cards in my drawer there. So we want to get the clamps out of the way. We're going to set our spoil board down first. And you can see that it was on one drawer already, so it has a few battle marks in it already. And you want to make sure that there's nothing sticking up. That's not really a problem. So I got it cut to the width of the bed, and we're going to bring it back. So what I need to know right now is the measurement from the edge of this to where I'm cutting, which is a 1/2 inch. So I know that when I set this, so I'll put a 1/2 inch line there. So when we clamp it down, that we're going to be right on the money. Then this way, we're going to call it 3/4. So we'll bring the spoil board to the edge of the work table. And then I made these little wooden blocks up because we're going to have to clamp down on those. And I'm going to put this will come in just a little bit below it, so we're pinching it down tight. So there's a lot of stuff you got to go through. So then here's our project piece. This is the actual, this will be our drawer. It's amazing what this thing will do. We're going to set that into place, and I'm not going to bore you too much longer here. The piece of scrap I had is actually bigger than the actual bed, which was good. So this will give us a lot of clamping area, and I know I'll be within the parameters. So basically, when you set your wooden block underneath here, put this on here, and then when we bring the clamp up somewhere where we know it won't get cut off, because this machine don't care, it'll cut it right off. So I got to get another piece of block here, the thickness of the spoil board. The trickiest part is getting everything clamped down. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to finish going around, get this thing all clamped down secure. You don't want it to wiggle at all. It'll mess up the whole program there. We'll be back when we're ready to rock and roll here. Everything is nice and secured. I'm happy with that. We got everything zeroed out, and we're ready to roll. I'm not going to run the dust boot on here. It really don't make much of a mess because the sawdust stays really packed tight in them joints. So I'm pretty confident that it's going to do a perfect cut on this. So we're going to get to the controller here. So we got everything zeroed. We're ready to roll here. So we're going to hit the OK, and we're going to go to the flash drive. So OK. Now you see, when you start getting different, now this box cut 1, you'd have no idea what that is. So 22 by 22, we know what that is. So we're going to bring it down, select it, we're going to hit OK, and it's going to tell you the work speed, and that's pretty much just set. So I don't need to worry about none of that. Then we hit OK again, and the magic will happen. So I'm going to let it get started here, and then we're just going to put this in time lapse, and this will be about close to 45 minutes. And I'll take you off the stand here, and while this is running, I have time to do other things. Now that was what they call ramping. It lowers the depth as it goes. So this will be the drawer bottom. So we're going to go ahead and kick this into time lapse. and let you enjoy. Well, that was kind of fun to watch. And in reality, that took, right around 40 minutes, a little bit over 40 minutes. So what I do is just nothing more than a nickel and just get in between the board and start popping these parts out. And then we're gonna go to the wide belt sander and we're gonna knock them burrs off. You could just use a regular random orbital sander, but when you got big toys, you might as well use them. There we go, there's the bottom. So all the pieces are here, and you can see, I don't know if you can, I'm going to try to make sure you do see it here. The reason that I did that setup with the different thickness, see it cut below everything. So you got a complete cut through, and it doesn't leave too much of a burr. But that'll all sand off, and let's go get that done. Well, been through the sander, and it got rid of all those burrs. And we didn't really take any thickness off. All we did is clean it up. You can do it with a random orbital sander or whatever you have handy, but this is going to be kind of a game changer for me to be able to build a very inexpensive drawer box in a matter of literally minutes. So I can be doing something more important in a shop than building a drawer. So all I got to do is assemble it, put the hardware on it, and we'll get it put in. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing glued up, and let me see how the camera angle looks here. And I think I can lower you down a little bit. And again, sometimes it's a challenge to film by yourself in the shop, but it works. And all we're going to do, it's quite a simple process. We're going to put glue on the mating surfaces. In other words, we're going to put some on top of here, and we're going to put some here. So when they both go together, the glue is touching both directions. So what I had found the best way to do it when I built that first drawer is just take the minute and go around the whole thing, and we'll just show you what I mean here. And that way you're ready to go. So we're just going to work around. Don't miss no surfaces. Don't matter if you put the rough edge in or out. All right. Just that simple. And all we're going to do, just some 1-inch brads. And the goal is to make sure that everything is good and tight. And watch your fingers, because they do like they have a mind of their own when you're shooting brads. And you don't have to shoot every joint. You just want to make sure that everything is sitting good and tight. And the corners are very important. Let's put the drawer runners on it. So basically all I do is get nothing more than a piece of 3/4 inch board, lay it against the side of the drawer, and just trace a line. This will give me my center line for my drawer runner, and that number seems to work very well for this particular hardware. You can set them where you want, but I like a nice dark line I can see. And then the drawer runners themselves, these actually were soft close. What we want to do is take them apart, and basically, let's see if we can get you in the shot here. What we want to do is just run the screw center of that line, and that holds it at the correct height. So and all you do is just get that bugger dead center on the line. Flush with the front. And we'll put 4 screws per runner. And that will be all that's required. Well, let's see how it fits. I put the runners in the cabinet, and that's just screwed in, so it's nothing fancy. And just work it in. And there you go. And this will be a nice strong drawer. It will hold, the runners will hold 125 pounds. And really smooth acting drawer. Then we'll make a couple fronts, but we're not doing that in this video, and eventually replace that top, maybe fit 2 more drawers in there, and then I'll have a lot more storage space. There's a lot of space in the shop that is underutilized, and you know, becoming basically I'm sort of like frickin' Jeep. I'm kind of a hoarder. But you save stuff and you say, well, I might use it for something someday. There's some bench ends that I want to make a set of benches for up at the mill someday. But that'll happen. I can cut some white oak or something. But at least it worked. Well, that pretty much concludes today's video. And I know some people are going to ask what router I do have, but it is the Auto Route Pro V5. And made by Axiom. They're made in Ohio. Very good product. Maybe a little overkill for my shop, but this will outlast the building it sits in. This thing is designed to run, you know, pretty much production. But I'm trying to learn more programming and get on to that end of it. And I figured I'd bring you along and show you how you can turn a $3 piece of OSB into a usable drawer, and I'll get years and years of service out of that. So if you like the video, do me a favor, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I'm going to try to mix up more sawing and shop videos and change the content up a little bit now and then. So catch you on the next one, and we'll probably be sawing something. I'll talk to you then. All right, bye-bye.